and empty spaces everywhere. Office occupancy is down. The retail or the market for buildings, commercial buildings, values are down, and people are practically giving away property to get out from under the burden of the property taxes and the low occupancy. Chicago's imploding. There was an article yesterday that says that the police and fire pension fund will not be sufficient to pay their retirees their full pension within 5 or 6 years. Johnson was here asking for $100 million plus. Chicago Public Schools have asked for $50 billion. They're asking the state of Illinois to cough up $50 billion to prop up the school district in Chicago. I don't think the people in our districts really care to do that. Not when their grades, people and the students can't meet grade proficiency. It's a failure, and it needs to be completely overhauled.
You know, the mayor was down in Springfield yesterday advocating for a variety of budgetary improvements for Chicago, CPS being one of them. I think we just actually saw news that came out that CPS is actually giving CTU teachers a day off to go to Springfield, 600 teachers going to Springfield to advocate for increased funding for CPS in a couple of weeks. So what we have seen though in terms of CPS enrollment is that this year it was relatively flat compared to last year. And that was the first year in quite some time that enrollment had not declined before this most recent school year. We saw subsequent reporting. I think Chalkbeat reported a couple of months ago that there's actually been another 5,000 students that have enrolled in CPS. New students have enrolled since even that 20th day enrollment count that CPS produced. But I think what's important, this question of stability or stabilization, I think is an interesting one. We can see, and this is from CPS's own data, that really the reason why CPS, their enrollment essentially is flat this year, it has gone up this year, is because of newcomers, because of migrant folks, because of asylum-seeking residents. Which is an aberration, right? In terms of what we've seen. What we see is when we look at the data behind some of the structural factors that we identified in our report in terms of why CPS's enrollment has declined, it is really a reduction of school-age children in the city of Chicago. It looked at the birth rates, and we had about 43,000 babies being born back in 2009. We're at 28,000 in 2021. That continues to go down, and that is your 5 years after a baby's born. That's when you're potentially going to go to Chicago Public Schools, right? In terms of kindergarten. So what we saw for this year, and you can see this in CPS's own data, is that CPS's actual kindergarten enrollment went down this year. So that's going to be the enrollment that's going to continue to, that's going to be the stability for CPS. What you saw was that enrollment happened at all different grade levels, right? First grade, second grade, ninth grade. You had all these different grade levels where kids were coming in. That's because folks were coming from Latin America, from other places, and they were just enrolling their kids as they got to Chicago. So I think a real question is going to be, I know the mayor previously had this 60-day kind of window in terms of folks that were coming to Chicago would have to leave or be removed from some of the shelters. He's put a couple of delays on that, and I think he's actually said that anyone who enrolls their child in CPS can stay to the end of the year, but we have no idea if the families are actually going to be staying at Chicago Public Schools beyond this current school year.